Thank you. What a beautiful evening. Well, before I came, I needed a check to get me on the fast side, and I put on some Billie Holiday, and man, I'm here. But, women are very important in my life, beginning with my grandma, my mother, my sister, and my wife. And I guess it started with Grandma. You know, she came over from Poland, and she was working around flipping spruce in a garment factory, where otherwise, you know, it was basically a shop where you worked and you sewed. And Grandpa was a handsome Austrian from Austria, and they came to that Fifth and South area that was known as a ghetto, a melting pot of the best kielbasa, Italian sausage, collard greens, gefilte fish, and corned beef and cabbage, man. The best thing you can possibly imagine, baby. Anyway, he sees this beautiful Polish girl named Blanche walking across the street, coming out of the sweatshop, and he says, "Hey, good looking, what you got cooking?" And she says, "What do you got, handsome?" And he says, "My name's Joe, what's yours, baby? You want to go check out a little Charlie Chaplin tonight at the movie theater on 4th and South?" She says, "You buying dinner?" And he says, "Anything you want. Your wish is my command, baby." Anyway, Grandpa had a burning desire, along with the rest of the ghetto people that moved in Society Hill. And he wanted to succeed in this country. But he also knew he needed a woman to succeed. He had a burning desire. He was from Austria. He was better looking than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He never lifted a weight in his life, but he lifted pianos. And man, he was burning. So he hooked up with this chick, and he got married. And he knew he's going to need somebody for the business. You know, he couldn't do it by himself, so he kept Grandma busy for 10 years, man. 10! Grandma said, "No more. No more." He says, "All right, we got enough. We got an accountant, we got a couple movers, a driver." My Aunt Norma, she was a truck driver. Man, she was great. Anyway, he had that business, boy, and he succeeded. You know, he completed his American dream, burning with that ambition. And a young lady named Alice came out of there. Sweet Alice was my mom. So, you know, Alice was, they had a nice place in Ventnor they would go to, and one day she was working in a restaurant. She was a waitress, you know, and she saw this handsome Siggy over there, and he looked at her and said, "Hey, good looking, want to go see From Here to Eternity?" And she said, "I would love to. I'd love to see Here to Eternity." That beach scene with Burt Lancaster and Deborah Carr. About 10 months later, man, brown-eyed soul boy. Came out of there, but anyway, you know, Dad was a good guy. He was a waiter. Anybody who works in a waitering business, you know, it's a very socialized activity. But anyway, dear old Mom, they moved across the street from my loving Grandpop and Grandmom. But 5 years, you know, Dad was her rover. He was on wife number 2, which was sweet, sweet Alice. And I always tell him, I said, "Your number 2 is your best. You know it." And he says, "I know, man." So anyway, one night he comes home at 5 o'clock in the morning, because when you're in the waitering business, stress, never forget it. You got to stop, maybe hit one of the places, play a little cards, come home, and Mom just got tired of making dinner at 5 in the morning, so he was knocking on that door, and Mom had the locks changed, and he's knocking, he's saying, "Alice, Alice, open up!" My grandfather walked across the street because he was getting a lot of food from my dad. He was bringing lobster from bookbinders, you know. He said, "Let him in, Alice, I need him." And she says, "I don't." She says, "Goodbye." So anyway, you know, Mom raised me and my sister, my lovely sister Susan, and my mom was great, man. She loved music and books and literature and everything. Film, oh God, if it wasn't for her, I'd be watching the Phillies or something. But the Phillies, it just ain't the way this kid's geared. But you know, my little sister, she had a very good habit of introducing me to women. And the third woman she introduced me to is now my wife, my wife, sweet Lorraine. And when I married her, or when I met her, you know, we discussed our interests, and her interests were mine, and she says, "Mark, we have a lot in common, and it's you." Anyway, she took this boy by the hand who loved entertainment. He loved the entertainment business, and anyway, he spent, it was 10 years before I became a man. I was with her for 3 years. I had to look in the mirror and said, "Mark, we got to get a real job out here, man. It ain't easy making a living in this world. You ain't gonna make it being an actor or a musician." But anyway, she changed my life, and I thank all those women. I just wanna say the only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are made to live, the ones who are made to talk, the ones who are made to be saved, the ones who desire everything all at the same time, the ones who do not yawn, who do not say commonplace things, but they burn, burn, burn. Just remember, we're like a flaming Roman candle going through the night, like spiders across the stars. I just want to dedicate this night to a young fella. His name is Bailey O'Neill, and he's a brave warrior who's no longer in the world today. He passed away a few days ago, and he was a warrior. And his parents, Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill, I give my deepest sympathy to you. You raised a very brave soul, and thank you. I wish we can all be as brave as that kid, and you all burned, and that's why I'm here. You rejuvenated my life. Thank you. That was Jack Kerouac, by the way, not one.